Lately I've been stressed out, I'ma be alright though. Move a mile a minute, cause any day I might go. Can't take the cash when the coffin hit the ground, so I'm blowing all this money like I'm trying to cool it down. I ain't never had shit but a dream, and the mama telling me I can be anything that I wanna. I don't watch television, got enough bad news. If you back me in a corner, I do what I have to. If you see me doing well, it's because I went and got it. Making something out of nothing, turning problems into profit. Man, impossible is nothing if you treat it like it ain't. That's why I treat it like it ain't. I don't know, it's just the way I am. My eyes bleeding red until the AM. Hallelujah, I still moving when the day end. All my demons chasing me, I gotta slay them. I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. They tell me to relax every time I tell them no. They confused cause I'm heating up, but still I'm hella cold. It ain't coincidental that my dentals never show. I ain't got a lot to smile about until I get the gold. See, my standards so high, but I'm sitting so low. Forget how they used to treat you, that's a big no-no. Watch the body count climb when we kill them with success. I need everything and nothing less. I don't know, it's just the way I am. My eyes bleeding red until the AM. Hallelujah, I still moving when the day end. All my demons chasing me, I gotta slay them. I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. One last thing, I like singing sad songs. That's how I deal with depression, so don't clown me like that's wrong. I'm not less of a person cause I talk about my feels. If I never ever did, how the fuck could I be real? This that motivation music, yeah, I wrote it for myself. Cause when I start feeling low, no one can save me but myself. This for me, this for me. I know who I am inside. Still I'm working like I'm never satisfied. I don't know, it's just the way I am. My eyes bleeding red until the AM. Hallelujah, I still moving when the day end. All my demons chasing me, I gotta slay them. I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient. I got a lot up on my mind, trying to see the silver lining, but I don't have the time to be patient.
Good afternoon, people. Well, it's not afternoon yet. Close to it, though. So I guess I'll say good morning. Not very often I say those words much anymore. A couple days have passed, and we got a little bit of price movement here. Let me go ahead and bring up the chart on my end. I'm not going to be here for too long today. I got some stuff I got to go do. But like I said, just continuing to check in with you guys. No schedule. Nothing like that. Just coming and going when the chart needs it. So, let's go ahead and talk about it. Let me switch back to Hikanishi. It's been a while. There we go. Alright, so we did get a little bit of a secondary retest. Well, secondary to our secondary. And we still have failed. Now, alright, like I said, I am not 100% bear. I'm never 100% anything. But all we can really say right now is that the macro probability is to the downside. Reason for that is we have the macro ABC with the resistance not only being 1, 2, but 3 times rejected. All right. Now, if we would have just come up to, 106, got rejected, came back down a little bit, and we were back on our way to that resistance, it'd be a different story. But you guys know me and why ABCs kind of, to me, have a little bit more strength, and that being us, we push past the resistance, but even with the breakout, still don't have enough momentum to continue. All right. This was Breakout Trader City here. All right. So if that was going to be the play, it most likely would have been the play. We even had a secondary attempt. Did not work out. We had a third attempt. Did not work out. Now, I'm not saying that it can't, but I do need us to come back down a little bit further and solidify some support with a little bit heavier of a structure if we do want to break through not only our old resistance, but newfound resistance. All right, it's a lot more to deal with now. So that being this structure here, all right, if we do happen to get a lower low off of that level, and we can still hold above it afterwards, I would be in a long position or I'd be buying. Okay. Now, if you do want to take a chance, all right, because obviously everybody wants to jump the gun, there is a very valid structure that will be formed beforehand. All right, we can see that right here. A to B to C. All right. We're on a 3-hour time frame here. If that's a structure that you wanted to take, I wouldn't blame you. But for me, I will be going ahead and waiting for the larger structure. If I miss out, I miss out. I'm just looking for better opportunities as I move into the future here. So that means limiting the smaller time frames. Or I should say the smaller structures. We really don't care about time frame all too often. Now, the reason being on why I might be more lenient towards this structure here versus this one here, I could definitely see a retest happening off this structure, but I didn't ever think it was going to break through the resistance. All right, now could it have? Of course, but my opinion was at the time it wasn't going to be a large enough structure to break through the macro resistance. And that happened. It is what it is. It's not about being right or wrong. That was just my intuition. That's why I didn't take that trade. All right, but this one right here, there might be an opportunity for it. I could see it happening. One, because the B wave is a lot larger cut. All right, that gives me a little bit better feeling about it rather than this tiny one here. It looks a little bit better in my opinion. So if we did happen to see price action go off of that, once again, I don't necessarily think it's going to be an actual leg up. I just rather think it would be a little bit of an extension of this wave here, and then I probably would think it would fold back over. All right, my opinion still kind of stands in terms of macro bearish. Once we get if we get the larger structure here, with one more leg to the downside here, that would be a more significant structure where at that point I could see you betting on either side. Obviously, is the bearish side still the highest probability? Yeah, but this starts to become closer to the 50% mark. As it currently stands, I wouldn't even say it's close at all. But if we form this structure and then we hold support from there, I would say we're closer to like 35-40% that it could actually break into a pretty significant leg to the upside. But I would have to see that first until I really start thinking in that manner. All right, so that's my thoughts about Bitcoin. It's nothing special. We're kind of just still working out at this top here. And, if we look back at, some of the previous major tops, well, those took a while to work out as well. It's kind of about drawing liquidity in. Where are we sitting at here? I gotta go back daily. So, I mean, these previous tops, they took some time to work themselves out before we started falling back down. Even stuff like this, it takes a while. So, like I said, I respect everybody's opinions. It's not about being wrong or right. It's just we have big ABC versus small ABC, and that small ABC isn't even formed yet. So to me, I just really can't be on the bullish side. Maybe momentarily, but not at the moment. So go ahead and take a look at a little bit of the rest of the market. Like I said, I'm not going to be here too long today. Now, once again, Litecoin is one of the only coins that gives me any feeling of upside. When I look at Litecoin, it really does look like we want to go on a third stretch here. And not only a third stretch, but a third stretch to retest this previous local high. It really does look like that from my perspective. Now, we do have a little bit of resistance and stuff standing in the way, but it seems likely. Like I said, with Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of in their positions, it's hard for me to put my bet on Litecoin, because Litecoin's obviously not that strong by itself. It does need accompaniment across the road by its parent, Bitcoin. Checking out Apple here. There's nothing to be said on Apple, unfortunately. If we do get one more stretch to the downside, though, this is pretty decently sized ABC structure. We'd have to put in that lower low there, but we do have this underlying support region, which would actually be very, very nice to see that kind of doot and then come right back up. So Apple does have a possible entry coming up here into the future. ADA does have an ABC. All right, we do have A to B to C. It's very similar to what we just dealt with on a smaller time frame for BTC. So I don't necessarily think I can say it's the same thing as Litecoin where it wants to do that. It's there. We do have A, we do have B. So if we did go on a run, that would be your prime target. If you're looking at this as a long-term hold position, you would at least be looking for your next hedge position to be around, 86 cents. I can't really say that it's looking too hot. So we have A to B. We're gonna go ahead and this looks like a huge outlier. We're gonna shape that up a little bit. It's looking more like A to B to C, and then obviously the best case scenario would be A to B to C, and then that would complete into your larger B, your larger C, and then you would be looking for that stretch to the downside. It doesn't have to work out like that, though. It doesn't. Sometimes we just get a singular wave B. So this is probably more likely what I'm expecting to happen here. So like I said, it's never fun to talk about stuff going down, but in all reality, it's just right in front of our face here. How's the strategy performed in the last 6 months? Excellent. We're coming, like, our last recent major win was on BTC, and it was this win right here. We had A, we had B, we had C, and I held it all the way up until here. And then before that, we had A to B to C, boom. And then we had A to B to C. And this was the largest ABC structure to take off that win. So, I mean, plenty of fantastic trades to have, in the last year. Within the last 6 months, we've really only had the short and the long. I'm sure if you cut it down to the smaller time frames, you'll go find something that you want to play. But once again, I just don't have time for that anymore. It's just not interesting to me. You end up losing more money. You get tilted, and then you lose more money. All right. When you have long-term, in-between trades, it gives you a lot of time to clear your head. Make sure you're doing the correct thing. What's going on, Raj? I said, hey, kitty. What's going on? The SPY definitely looks thin. It doesn't look healthy to me. I mean, we have, this small ABC top kind of topping out at the resistance here. It doesn't look healthy. Now, I'm not saying like long term. Obviously, stuff like Apple, the SPY, stuff like that works a little bit differently than assets, because obviously there's a lot of other factors that play into this. So, I mean, we could come right back down to 575, find support, and then continue on this trend. But it does look a little bit too aggressive of an angle. Doesn't look entirely healthy to me. DXY has the bullish ABC on the smaller time frame. Right here. And then we have the bullish ABC on the larger time frame right here. And then we do have the macro here, but we're looking at, it's hard for me to say that like that's going to have a major influence. One, because of how price has already reacted to it. We kind of cruise between it. But we're looking at, 10 years between those two. So to say it has a huge influence at this point in time, I would say no. I think we're starting to look at more just kind of from this section of the graph forward. So we do have the bullish ABC on Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, the DXY. So if that does happen to turn out, people seem to think that the inverse is going to happen on BTC. If we see a pump on the DXY, we're going to see a dump on Bitcoin. Does it always work out like that? No, but there's some validity to it. Now, if we cannot reclaim this support region here, then yes, could drop all the way down to 89. So there's something we said there if you are on the bullish side of Bitcoin. All right, so it could go either way here. We got some conflicting factors. Then with Ethereum, same old. Like I said, it's a very thin structure. We have no support underneath us. So I really wouldn't be surprised if when things do start to turn over, or if I should say they start to turn over, we're going to see pretty much it drop off a cliff. We have no, and like once again, it's not a personal thing. I'm not personally attacking you, forever is bullish on, BTC or Ethereum or whatever. It's simply stating the fact of the chart. Right? We do not have any support on Ethereum. If we do choose to come back down to the downside, it's going to be pretty much a straight drop back down to 1700. I know that hurts to say, but that is the reality of it. Now, could we catch momentary support around 2100? Sure. That is a previous local high. A little bit of an outlier wick on that local low, though, to be honest with you. I would have to see where the average ended up for that. But yeah, it's we could find momentary support here, but it didn't show any signs of life. We didn't retest it or anything on the way to the upside. So from a single trend perspective, I can't really rely on that. It's not somewhere where I'd be looking to buy, for instance, just based off of the drop. But this is where I'd probably be looking. Obviously, our strongest support would be down here. But we have at least something right here, right? We have the previous local low from the downtrend, and then, whatever we could call this previous local low of the uptrend was in that 1750 region. So, like I said, it's not me rooting for these things to drop. It's looking at the possibility, and usually we tend to take the easiest path. All right, unless we have a lot of money. And right now, the easiest path is down. It's just straight up. That's how it is. Twixie, what's going on? How you doing? XMR, it looked to be promising beforehand with its ABC structure, but kind of starting to stunt our growth here. What are your thoughts on gold chart right now? There's not much to say. I mean, we would have to cut down to a pretty significantly small time frame here. We have the ABC. So if you're going to be continuously bullish on gold here, you're going to want to do it from 3,210. That is your strongest support region. That was your previous buy-in on the smaller time frames. These are your local lows for any possible future black swan events. And then at the moment, we are putting the triple top here. So we actually might get a retest here. Obviously, we would be aiming for the first two local lows and the trend versus. But we could either come back down and head and shoulders, you know, inverse head and shoulders off of this previous ABC. If that's not the case, then we would probably be looking at something more larger structured. And as we push higher on gold, we probably would want something a little bit more thick, you know, to say the least, for a proper retest and build some proper support for the future, you know, for whenever that top might be. So we could possibly be looking at something more like this. If not, we're looking at the head and shoulders. That is if it wants to continue. All right. So, I mean, if you are going to be shorting here, might not be a bad idea to go ahead and hold on to that short. Because, I mean, we could be looking at a lower local low as a possible price point. But yeah, all I can really see right now is it does look like it wants to retest. All right. And the two immediate options we would be looking for a retest would be 3,200 or a possible test of 3,118, or maybe even a possible extension slightly past, or even cutting down to 2,954. All right. Now, this is not me saying that I'm anti-bullish on gold. I have no reason to believe that this trend is going to end anytime soon. All right. We don't have any significant top, but it's not about what I believe. All right. The chart is showing some sort of retest is in the works. So for that, if you're going to be into gold, this would be a hedge position for a short, and then you would be looking for your next opportunity long, either based off of this structure or on a retest of this level. That's all I can really see. All right, guys. That's all I really got time for today. Like I said, it's going to be a short stream. I got to go ahead and get out the house. But I appreciate you guys showing up, as always. Like I said, no schedule at the moment. Once things are a little bit better in the future, maybe I'll start planning on an exact time. But right now, I'm really just trying to make sure I keep up with you guys, check in when I can, let you guys know my thoughts. That's all there is to do. So sometimes I might catch you around. Most of the time, it's going to be around 10 o'clock in the morning, EST, or it's going to be around like 7:30 EST at nighttime, you know, PM. So those are the two times that I could probably stay more consistent with. So just kind of check for me then if you want to check for me. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time, whenever that might be. Might be tomorrow or a couple days from now. Whenever I feel like it, or when price action makes a significant move here. So, all right, guys. I appreciate your time today, and I'll see you soon. All right, guys. Peace out. Bye.